When I was doing startup weekends previously, and you can find the old videos somewhere down in the list of the videos here on the YouTube, I learned from the designers and I learned from the engineers that the most important thing is its attempt. Sometimes planning too much will go against you because there are always infinite number of possibilities. I kind of applied exactly same thing learning doing content. I just do attempt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, doesn't matter how many, and then eventually I see the improvements. Most important thing is not to give up. WD-40 stands for water displacement 40th attempt. That means somebody failed 39 times before they made the bloody thing. So I think I'm doing quite okay. I'm not even close there. Maybe it's like attempt number 5 in total. Today I am in an industrial park in Limerick City, which previously housed one of the biggest names in the computer manufacturing and used to be a kind of a sign of the might of Limerick in terms of that space. Right now it's kind of reviving, and this is the reason why I brought this car. Not because this car is a revival of the Seat brand or anything, but they keep reviving the exactly same chassis, and would be interesting to see when they actually bring out the new generation, because in this current model, yeah, it looks different from outside, but the inside doesn't really feel that much. If we're taking the distance between the front wheel and the rear wheel, it's exactly as Volkswagen Polo, it's exactly as the Skoda Fabia. It's not really much, but those few inches missing, it is extremely annoying, because I am over 6 foot, actually nearly 6'4", and that I would love extra 2 inches inside of the car for me as a driver. Is it a smart decision? Volkswagen doesn't want Seat to cannibalize their Polo sales, and the Polo itself is just like, it's a glorified facelift, to be honest. It doesn't really differ that much. You shouldn't sacrifice other manufacturers by making them use your platform to the T as it is with this particular vehicle. Personally, rear of the Seat is probably the best part about the entire design. I would even say that most of the time it looks better than the Volkswagen Polo does. You can actually see that since the 90s, once they were making the Ibizas exactly based on the Polo model. Look at this part, and it's almost exactly same as my Polo in 03 was. That's 14 years ago. Guys, you should probably come up with something new. The Volkswagen always does the flagship models really nice and they always stand out, but the budget cars always suffer, and I don't think that's fair on the consumers. The Ford, for example, the design line is exactly the same across the board, and it really feels nice. I honestly like this car as well, but if I had to choose right now between the Fiesta and the Ibiza, I would be leaning towards Fiesta. And I think that's what Volkswagen should actually take into consideration, because later you're going to see inside of this car. Panel here is nice and soft, same as you would expect in something that comes from the Volkswagen family. Here, cheap plastic. Here, cheap plastic. Here, cheap plastic. Right now, I'm going to do a circle around this industrial estate, because that pretty much sums up the entire driving experience in Ireland. Roads are not always that great. Yes, we have motorways, but they only came in recently. The steering wheel is extremely light. It's not the bad car to drive for sure. And the Polo itself, the one I had, the 03 one, the only reason I had to stop driving it is because insurance were just coming up so high, it didn't really make sense. It is in a normal position as your stereo would be, and you can see that you can actually take it out and replace it if you really wanted to. Dents, definitely ugly. Maybe they kind of had to choose, do they want to do a good inside of the car or good design outside? And I think the Seat picked the outside, because interior is not that great. Tiles are exactly from the old car. The steering wheel is nice, probably the nicest part about the interior, but the panels are just horrendous. I am over 6 foot. Majority of people are not that tall, so obviously screw me. Why would I have to buy a more expensive car just because I'm taller? That's unfair. When I'm driving in a city on the 5th gear, 60 kilometers an hour, the car is running about 2000 RPMs. So it's clearly designed to be revving a little bit higher. But then it removes the purpose of the small car to be fuel efficient, because it sure isn't. And especially if you're revving it a bit lower. But it sounds nice. You probably say you shouldn't be parking here, but I think the wrap-up is necessary and I have to do it somewhere. And it says no jet skis, and this is not a jet ski. The Seat Ibiza looks nice from outside. It drives nice, but it is an old car with a new body. Would I buy one right now? If I had the money, probably not. Not because it's not good, and not because it's not necessarily very economical, but Volkswagen has the entire world of possibilities in front of them. And with the current announcements that they're going electric full tilt after the Dieselgate, it shows that if they really want to produce good cars and produce good technology, they can, that they're not necessarily want to. The Seat makes them really nice. The design is good, it's really distinctive, but the interior let me down big time.